day late, but I did want to come and show my face to acknowledge that I'm not living under a rock. I am aware of the circumstances. Spencer Rattler will be making his NFL debut on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My thoughts on it? Listen, on one end, you do have to feel a little bit relieved in the sense that not only are we trying something new, but to me, this is an opportunity to kind of see how your potential future quarterback is going to shake out under a lot of adversity. You got a guy in Spencer Rattler who, word salad there. You have a guy in Spencer Rattler who, opposed from Derek Carr and Jake Haener, can actually make plays with his legs. So with this terrible offensive line that we have, you'd have to think that he's going to be needing them legs to make some kind of plays if we have any chance to win Sunday. But as I mentioned, the catch-22 here is we don't have any offensive line. And that all boils down to depth at the end of the day. Whenever you invest all your money into terrible business decisions, that's kind of what happens. You don't have depth. What's up, baby? How you doing? So on one end, I am excited. You know, you're going to be able to at least see your potential future franchise quarterback start for you, but not under any kind of circumstance that you would be ideal to starting him in. You're kind of just, at this point, you're picking the best of the bunch. And I do believe that Spencer Rattler, although he is a rookie quarterback, I do believe that he gives you the best chance to win. And I don't think that you can really argue with that. Jake Haener is more of a Derek Carr kind of player. And if you're just putting in Derek Carr 2.0, and listen, we know Derek Carr's not elite, but Jake Haener's not even half of what Derek Carr is. Let's be real, okay? If you're putting Derek Carr 2.0 in that position, which would be Jake Haener, you already know what you're going to get with an injured offensive line. There's no secret. You're going to repeat the exact same thing for sure that you saw in the previous 3 weeks, especially last week. With Spencer Rattler, although nothing is guaranteed, and I'm willing to admit that, this doesn't mean that a lot of you are forgetting the fact that, again, he has no offensive line to stand behind. So, ultimately, realistically, he's probably going to get killed. He's probably going to get sacked a bunch of times. We're probably going to lose in the same fashion that we lost to Tampa last year in the Dome, 26-9. I can see it being an exact replica of that game. Brute's saying exactly. I think that's why you have to start Rattler at this point, because he gives you at least the potential to be able to move around and make plays with his legs. That's about your only saving grace, especially with an offensive line that has a bunch of middle school players and literally ain't worth a damn. Let's be real here. So that's about your only saving grace right there. You got a guy that's not a statue. You got a guy that's willing to at least run around and attempt to buy time and make plays. And that's kind of what you need at this point. And I'm not sure on any other circumstances in relation to the offense. I don't know if Taysom Hill is going to play. I don't know. Kendre Miller. I don't know if he's going to play. Shit, he might as well be Tony Jones Jr. because he ain't played that damn much. In fact, he hadn't played in over a year. So I don't know any other offensive pieces that are going to be available. I don't know if Cesar Ruiz is going to be back. I don't know any of those details. So with that being said, you're looking at a type of offensive performance that is going to have to be... You're going to have to use Spencer Rattler's strengths. If you're going to win, you're going to have to play to Spencer Rattler's strengths. You don't have an offensive line that can block. So it's very hard to imagine it's very hard to imagine the Saints coming out with a win in this scenario. I think you're going to have to see some very extraordinary things happen in order for that to go our way. You're going to have to see Tampa Bay. First and foremost, the defense has got to hold their own. And at this point, I don't even know if that's going to happen. I really don't. Especially Paulson Adebo in our pass rush. I mean, for God's sake, we don't have a pass rush. We don't. We have a bunch of slow, overweight, incompetent defensive linemen. And I don't say that in the sense that they've never been good. They're not good. I'm saying that in relation to, I literally watch Chase Young on Monday Night Football jogging. The man's not even, it looked like he wasn't even trying. I mean, he's literally jogging when Mahomes is in the pocket all day to throw. Cam Jordan doesn't have it anymore. Cam Jordan does not have it anymore. He's basically here because we're trying to keep the loyalty and the rapport going. But Cam Jordan, he's washed. He's done. He's done. Your only hope at the defensive line is Brian Bresee and Carl Granderson. And, well, two men are not going to do it by themselves. So we don't have a pass rush. That's concerning. We don't have an offensive line. That's concerning. So you got both phases of the ball where you're already at a disadvantage at the line. You add that with the fact that you don't have your starting quarterback, and you can say whatever you want about Derek Carr. He makes some very weird decisions, I know, but ultimately I still believe he gives you the best chance to win. And it's not saying much, but it's true. Toper in the world, buddy. I think you're at the wrong stream, my friend. We're here to talk about football. I'm not talking about world peace and World War III and Vladimir Putin and all that. I'm not here to talk about all that. If that's what you're here to talk about, then we're not having that conversation. I'm sorry. But if you're a Saints fan or you like NFL football, stick around, buddy. Stick around. But yeah, I don't see how the Saints get a win. I think they're gonna have to win the turnover. I think they're gonna have to win the turnover ratio by at least 3 if they want any kind of shot. Not only that, your defense might have to score, dude. I mean, Vernon Davis, that is correct. God is good all the time, baby. Your defense is gonna have to score. They're gonna have to find a way to get you some short fields. They're going to have to win the turnover ratio, I'd say by 3 turnovers, if you want a good shot, like a legitimate shot to win the game. And, I mean, right now I don't trust either side of the ball, so it's really going to be difficult to see the Saints winning. In fact, I think this is a game that could get ugly. I don't think it's going to get extremely ugly to where you're going to see like 50 points put up and the Saints have 10. I don't think it's going to get that kind of ugly, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be ugly in the sense that what Tampa Bay did last year in the Dome, winning the game 26-9, I think it's going to be something similar to that. So when I say the game can get ugly, I think it's going to be something like that, to where you literally, like, there's no shot in hell that you're winning. Like, even if the score is like 17-9 going into the fourth quarter, like, you already know the game's over. That kind of ugly. Like, you literally, you already know it's going to be bad. So that's kind of where my thoughts are with this kind of game. That's kind of where I'm leaning. And the sad thing about it is we need this. We need this game bad. We need it bad, dude. I mean, you lose this game, you're 2-4, and I'm gonna say this right now. Right now, the season's pretty much over. And when I say that, I basically mean the season is over unless they prove us otherwise. So if they fall to 2-4, the season's pretty much over. They fall to 2-5, the season's definitely over. And it's literally at that point, like, the season's pretty much over unless they prove us wrong, unless they prove us otherwise. Like, unless they can go on, like, a 4 or 5 game winning streak, 3, 4, 5 game winning streak to get their heads back above water. Yeah, the season's pretty much over until they prove us otherwise. I think realistically, and I mean at the bare minimum, if I'm being completely generous here, because I do believe we got to win Sunday. I think if you don't win Sunday, I think ultimately in the end, when the season's all said and done, you're going to be on the outside looking in. But if I'm being completely generous here, if you don't win Sunday, you definitely got to win Thursday. You got to find a way to win Thursday and get to 3-4. At the very minimum. You need one of these next 2 games, realistically. You need one of them. You want the division game. But you need to stay within a game of 500. You can't fall 3 games below 500 in a week. In a week's time, the Saints could be 3 games below 500 and literally, like, I mean, at 2-5, at that point, you literally have to go on a nice winning streak to keep yourself in the race. And I don't think this team is built for that. I think this team was built for a 2-win, 1-loss, 2-win, 1-loss, 1-win, 1-loss, 1-win, 1-loss. And I think that's something, I think that's what this team would have had to do this year in order to actually give themselves a good shot at the playoffs. I think they would have to, they were going to have to do 2-1, 2-1, 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, you know, losing 5 in a row. This team's not built to go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, in my opinion. That's why I feel like you have to have one of these next 2 games. And honestly, I mean, you probably have a better shot of winning the Denver game, because at least you got, at that point, 2 rookie quarterbacks starting. And I'm sorry, I still don't think Denver's that good. I don't. They're playing a lot better. That's probably the one reason why. That's probably the reason why I would favor Denver over us next Thursday. But realistically, dude, I think the Saints have a much better shot to beat Denver than they do Tampa Bay Sunday. If they beat Tampa Bay, then we're having a whole different conversation here, okay? They beat Tampa Bay, we're having a completely different conversation. I think the offensive line that showed up against the Falcons is going to have to show up on Sunday, because I don't think that offensive line was that bad. The one that played against the Falcons on Sunday, I don't think that offensive line was that bad. The offensive line that played last week was Monday night was terrible, and the offensive line that played against Philadelphia was terrible. If the offensive line that played against Atlanta shows up on Sunday, the Saints may have a shot. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, are they going to be able to provide some kind of protection for him? Are they going to give him time? We'll see. But listen, I'm aware, and it is what it is. We're going to have to just hope for the best, I guess, and expect the worst, but hope for the best, but more expect the worst, okay? We're staring 2-5 in the face right now, so let's just kind of keep it real here. But aside from that, hey guys, just want to throw my thoughts out there real quick, and I'll see you guys after the game Sunday. So hopefully we can